Joining us from Russia. Ingrid, I want to understand from you, how do you take the message from India that the Indian Prime Minister has given to the Russian President that this is not an era of war? Not sure if Ingrid can hear me. Ambassador Suresh, would you like to take that question, please?
It's a very interesting question, I must say. How would Russia take as a message from India?
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be basically kind of some kind of equality, not very happy, but at the same time, Russia is not doing very well in the war. So perhaps, not perhaps, it really does need to end the war. But how does it end the war till Ukraine actually concedes to it? So therefore, they are in a bit of a fix. Therefore, the message from India would be taken with a bit of ambivalence, if I can say so. But I think Russia needs to be given the message, and therefore, Prime Minister Modi has done well by saying that this is not the era for war. But if I need to go beyond this, the fact is that any war in the present day world, whether it is Armenia, Azerbaijan, or it is Russia, Ukraine, particularly if there is a nuclear power involved, has the danger of spiraling into a nuclear war if it does not end soon. And I don't think the world is prepared to face any kind of war, particularly a nuclear war. So that is one thing. Do I have another 1 minute? I want to go into what Prime Minister actually said.
Sure.
At the I think it's very, very heartening to note that Prime Minister has given an address which is really visionary. Because for us, the importance of SCO lies not in bilateral talks with either Putin or Xi Jinping or anyone else. Frankly speaking, I'm quite happy, quite delighted that we did not go into the bilateral talks with Xi Jinping. Shahbaz Sharif could not afford to really initiate a talk, and therefore it is all that it should be. But the address itself was visionary. When we talked about the economic issues, when we talked about the need for trust and confidence between the nations, particularly those nations in the area in Central Asia and China, when we talk about food security, our Prime Minister gave a vision where all the countries in the region and the world can actually work with each other to ensure common good for people. Now, that is something which I think should carry forward to a great distance, really. And I'm quite happy that it happened. We need to work on that kind of a message.
Okay. Yes. Ambassador Suresh, I'll come back to you. And of course, I want to go across to Andrew also on the message that not having a bilateral or the side with one-on-one with the Chinese president gives in itself. But I think Ingrid is back with us. Ingrid, can you hear me this time?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I wanted to understand from you how Russia would take the message from India that this is not an era for war. And that is something that India has been pressing for quite some time. India believes it stands for peace and has been batting for early resolution of the conflict in Ukraine. But that conflict has been on for 6 months now, something that not many of us imagined it would go on for that long. How do you think that message is being taken in Russia that, we need to bring this to an end?
Yeah, first of all, I want to remind that Russia and India, long-time friends and very collateral relationship we have from Soviet times. So I think India, because insists to keep a peace in the world, it's a good position, and we are together one organization, international, like called BRICS. So I think we have a similar ideology. Russia also wants to resolve this by negotiating from beginning. And if you come back from 2014, you will see how it was like when it was referendum in Crimea, and how it started to be a civil conflict between East and West Ukraine. And we must play back because we must see consequences which has come up like right now, as you say, 6 months is conflict still lasting, and a lot of deaths, which is usually happens in Ukraine, and we have also loss in our Russian army. So I think it must be taken from Russia as a way of, we also our government want to solve it. And there is no any intention to occupy, or how we call it in our media, which is called propaganda, the different senses which is Russia have intentions intervene in Ukraine. It's absolutely the Russia idea is about security of their own country, and our president thinking about our lives, about our safety and security.
Okay.
If you remember the speech of Mr. Zelensky in München of the Forum of Security, and he started to say what he wants to in his country expand NATO, and was like a frighten for Russian and sign for Russian government. I think if we compare with India and Pakistan relation, if somebody from Pakistan start to threaten India with some this type of notices, I think it also will be taking some action from Indian governments. This is just to give example.
Okay.